Guys, welcome. Thank you for joining me today on this nutrition mastery call. I'm Dylan here, as you guys already know, but I am so happy to be here, so honored to be here to help you guys, to guide you through this. We're going to be talking about 7 reasons why you're struggling to stay on your diet plan and how to solve that once and for all. So we got some good bits and pieces of information in here, so be sure to take notes. We're going to answer questions at the end of this. So I'm going to dive right in. All right. I'm going to dive right in with the problem. Okay. I see from a lot of my clients, you guys can even chime in if you want here, but I see a problem here, and it's very common with the clients that I serve and people that I see in the gym and talk to in the gym on a daily basis as well. So the problem is we're just not seeing success with the diet plan or the weight loss plan or the muscle growth plan that they're set out to do, right? They're not achieving the goals that they want to achieve. And this problem, as common as it is one that honestly, it's kind of solved with a few simple things. Simple, when I say that, it's not complex, but that doesn't mean it's easy. All right, because consistency is going to be the one thing that's going to carry you across the goal line, no matter what you're doing in life. So I want you to know consistency is going to be a massive part of this, but I'm going to give you 7 reasons why you may be struggling and then 7 ways to fix that. All right. So we're going to dive in on each one here. So the first one is you're not eating enough meals. So when I see a lot of people, when they first come to me, right, I break down their diet plan, break down what they're currently doing. They say they have these goals to build muscle and they're just not seeing the results that they want. Well, the biggest reason is because they're just not eating frequently enough. They're not eating enough throughout their day. They're not intaking those calories. They're not increasing the intake of their calories. And this is such a massive problem, such a massive issue, because if you're not supplying your body with food, then it's never going to grow. It's never going to exceed anything that it currently is in. So there's 2 states with everything in this universe, every single thing. A lot of people like to believe there's a 3rd state, a maintenance zone. But I'll argue to the day I die that doesn't exist. There's no such thing as maintenance. You can't maintain anything. I mean, just look at the trees, look at the plants, look at animals, look at anything in life. Look at your bank account if you want. Nothing is maintaining. It's either growing or it's dying, right? So what we want to do, we want to understand this process because we can manipulate and utilize this process for our benefit here. And in order to do that, we have to understand how the body responds and what it does and goes through, the process it goes through in order to build muscle, in order to burn fat. So the body is always going through 2 phases, an anabolic phase and a catabolic phase. These systems play hand in hand. They work corresponding together. They work simultaneously. They are 2 systems that ultimately help the body manage and function and do what it's supposed to do. So in anabolic, you're growing, you're building up. Think about Legos. All right, here's a great analogy for it. In the sense of Legos, anabolic, being anabolic and staying anabolic, and anabolic reactions are the building up of those Lego blocks, the putting together and building into new things. Typically, when the body does this, it's taking amino acids and it's putting those amino acids into new proteins that will then repair and heal the muscle mass. So amino acids are the building blocks to all proteins. So when you go through a catabolic phase, this is the breaking down. It's the opposite of building up, the breaking down. Your body's always going through these 2 phases, but for catabolic, this happens in digestion. This happens when you break down food. You're breaking that food down. Let's say you just ate some steak. You eat that steak, you ingest it, it's in your stomach, the stomach acid breaks that down, it goes into your intestines, and you start to pull the nutrients out of that. You start to break down the proteins into amino acids. Those amino acids then flow into the bloodstream to then be used as new building blocks. You're taking those amino acids, the Lego blocks, right? And you're breaking them down through a catabolic reaction and then building them back up into new proteins where your body needs it through anabolic reactions. So you see the process here, the cycle. Now, the common stipulation here is people like to think that you can stay anabolic or you can either be catabolic. But the truth of the matter is you're always both. You're doing both reactions simultaneously. It's a wheel, right? If you think about it, the way it looks, it's a wheel, constant reaction, breaking down, building up, breaking down, building up, breaking down, building up. The key is to continuously be breaking and building up. That's the thing. See, what happens when people aren't eating enough, they're just breaking down. They're hitting the gym, they're exercising, and they're not getting that meal post-workout sometimes, and they're breaking down everything, but then they have nothing to rebuild into. There's no excess calories, excess protein, carbs, and fats, nutrients that the body needs in order to build back up. So without eating frequently throughout the day, I would say every 2 to 3 hours, you're not able to really grow, to really rebuild your body, to heal the damaged tissue that you're breaking down in the gym. Because that's a thing as well. You're not building muscle in the gym. You break it down there. It burns. That burning feeling is literally the muscle. Think about the muscle fiber like this, literally ripping, literally tearing, and literally causing stress, causing pain. That's good. You want that to happen, right? That's what we need to happen, because muscle tissue will grow only through intense, strenuous pain, through intense stimulation. So we need these. So the gym is a part of it, just like anabolic is a part of the anabolic catabolic system, right? The gym is a key component, but we grow when we're sleeping, when we're at home, when we're resting. All right. So we need to make sure we're constantly supplying our bodies with enough nutrients to grow. Now, there's another saying. Jay Cutler actually said this. He said, you will never overtrain if you're eating enough. You're only going to overtrain if you're not supplying your body with enough food. And that is so true. I've proven it in myself, and I've proven it in a lot of people that I've trained as well. You know, maybe you guys can even attest to this. You will only feel that sense of overtraining, like you're doing too much, if you're not getting enough calories in the body. I've experienced this multiple times, many times. And every time I do, I think and I analyze the situation where my body's in. And I'm like, okay, why do I feel this way? Why am I stiff? Why do I have these muscle pains? And I think, oh, I haven't eaten in like 3-4 hours. Wow, okay. Or I'm low on calories that day, or I missed a meal, or whatever it may be. So reason number one why you're not seeing success that you want to see is because you're just not eating enough meals. So to solve this problem, I highly suggest you eat every 2 to 3 hours consistently. And this is for weight loss as well. A lot of people think, if I eat more frequently, aren't I going to gain weight? It's not entirely true, because what we're also doing by eating more frequently, we're speeding up those anabolic and catabolic reactions. That's the metabolism. The metabolism controls that. So when we're eating more frequently, when we're putting more food in, the body can then start to release its need to hold on to calories, right? And when we hold on to calories, it does that when it's in a starvation mode, a deprivation mode. That's the time that it really holds on. And you'll notice this, a lot of people, when they're only eating 1 or 2 times a day, they look soft and they're not hungry. They're satisfied with 1 or 2 meals a day because their body has slowed down to meet the level that you're putting in, to meet the calories that you're putting in. It's going to respond to whatever you do. That's the beautiful thing about the body. It adapts. It's amazing. It's an incredible machine. Always adapts to whatever you do. So if you're only eating 1 meal a day, it'll eventually, over time, you're going to respond to that, and you're going to not be as hungry as frequently. Your metabolism is going to slow way down to meet that goal. But then as soon as you start increasing the meals, you're going to feel bloated and like overfilled at first. But after a couple of days, your body adjusts, your metabolism speeds up, and you start to become hungry within an hour or so after you just ate. That's the most incredible thing, secret, if you will, about the human body. It is so adaptive. So for weight loss, you still want to eat every 2 to 3 hours because you're boosting your metabolism. Your body is going to start burning more calories that way, and you're going to be building more muscle mass that way, which is proven through study that muscle mass is the key to longevity of health. And muscle mass, the more amount that you have on your body, the more built up it is, the more you're going to burn fat throughout your whole day, because it takes more calories to sustain muscle mass than it does to sustain fat mass. That's the cool thing, guys. So that's number one. All right. Make sure you're eating every 2 to 3 hours. It's going to solve that problem. You're going to notice results right away, and you're going to notice it in how hungry you get. You're going to start being hungrier. Your metabolism is going to boost up. You're going to get more energy throughout the day. You won't need that coffee. You're going to be good. You're going to be set. So moving into number two, all right, the number two reason why you're not seeing results is because you're not eating as frequent enough. This ties in with number one, like we just talked about. You got to eat every 2 to 3 hours. A lot of people, well, not a lot of people, there are scientists that would say, scientists and dietitians that would say, it's better to fast, right? But with your fasting, that's good for weight loss. It's great for weight loss, and fasting, honestly, it holds the key, I believe it really does, to total health, to transforming your health and your mind. Fasting is an incredible tool for your arsenal, but it's not the only tool, and it's specific to your goal. Remember that. If you want to lose weight, utilize fasting. That's great. But if you want to build muscle, which will ultimately help you lose more weight without the effort, then you need to eat frequently. You need to eat every 2 to 3 hours. Now, timing of your meals is so important with this. And this is the number one way to solve this. You got to understand what to eat and when to eat it. You can't just eat carbs all day long and expect to lose weight. You'll gain weight this way, not always muscle mass, but you will gain weight. Now, if you want to build muscle, which will ultimately help you lose more weight in the long run, then you need to eat high amounts of protein every 2 to 3 hours. Now, specifically around your workouts, this is the zone when you need to fuel your body. Think pre-workout is fueling for performance. Post-workout is refueling after you perform. It's refueling the storages and healing so you can grow and recover. That's what it's about. So timing those two meals are so very important. And what you eat in those two meals are also so very important. So I would say pre-workout meal, you want to have fast digesting protein, fast and slow digesting carbs. A good mix of both will do you so well. A lot of people like to throw in gummy bears, throw in sweets, throw in Skittles and stuff like that pre-workout. It can be good. I prefer a Rice Krispie treat because it doesn't have a lot of added sugars. It doesn't have a lot of empty calories. It's just got a little bit, just got enough, but it's more carbohydrates and it's more sustainable than eating a handful of gummy worms. Which gummy worms aren't bad. I don't want you to think that. It's just the choice here and what works best for your body. I found that eating gummy worms doesn't really do much for me, but eating a Rice Krispie treat gives me a pump like crazy. It just turns things on for me. It's incredible. So that's dependent on the body really. So with that being said, guys, knowing that pre-workout you're fueling, post-workout you're refueling, all right, for recovery and healing. Post-workout or pre-workout meal you want to eat within an hour of your workout. All right, post-workout you want to eat within an hour after your workout. Now there's a 26-minute window right after you're done, or really during your workout, almost right at the end. For 26 minutes, your body is in a heightened state of protein consumption. It's going to be breaking down and consuming and taking those amino acids and building them up into protein that is going to heal and restore your muscle mass. So that 26-minute window is so crucial to make sure you're getting fast digesting protein. Protein shake, whey powder, or plant powder, perfect for that. It's exactly when you need to take it. So if you can, as soon as you're done working out, go to the water fountain, throw some protein powder in your shake, mix it up with water, chug it down, will do such wonders for you. You'll feel better, you'll look better, you'll boost your metabolism, you won't have that stiffness and tightness and soreness as much from recovering as well. So making sure you understand timing of your nutrients, that's very crucial. So if you guys got questions over this, again, we're going to do a Q&A at the end of this. All right. I got 5 more things to talk about here. So we'll nail them out and then I'll answer all your questions at the end of this. Okay. All right, guys. Yep. So number 3, Number three, why you're not seeing progress in your diet plan is because you're not eating enough protein. Now, hand in hand with number one and two, with eating enough meals and the frequency at which you eat those meals, you have to make sure you're eating high amounts of protein. You should be eating at least a gram of protein per pound of body weight. And if you are pushing and training 2 times a day or 7 days a week, you can honestly get up to 2 to 3, I would say 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So right in that zone, see, you want to stay in there. Now, it is very, very possible to overdo protein. And when I say overdo, it's not harming your body, but what you will notice some symptoms and some side effects from it. So when you have too much protein, the first thing, your body will only utilize what it needs and then get rid of the rest. Typically, though, the body doesn't just, you don't just piss it out. What happens is it does hold on to it, and it's going to convert that protein. It's going to convert it into glucose, which then goes into your adipose tissue or your liver as glycogen, as stored fat, as energy for later. So if you're overeating protein, if you, let's say you weigh 190 pounds and you're eating 300 grams of protein every single day, odds are you're only really utilizing about maybe 190 to 200 grams of that protein, maybe a little bit more, right? We would definitely need to see, but the biggest thing, for every other gram that you're consuming, the body is going to just be turning that and converting that into fat mass. So you're gaining fat as in stored energy that way. So you have to understand that you need to eat high amounts of protein, absolutely, but there is a level, there is a line that you shouldn't cross. Okay, so understanding your body type is understanding what your body needs, really, and the frequency and level at which you exercise is so very important to understanding how much protein you need. So with that being said, I would suggest getting at least 20 to 25 grams for women and some guys as well. For lower weight guys, 25 grams of protein per meal is perfect. If you're a heavier weight, you're gaining, you're bulking, then anywhere from 30 to even 40 grams of protein could be great for you. It really just depends on how big your body is, the size of your muscle mass, and how much, conversion protein that you're going to be having. Now, in order to really assess this, you're going to have to use the visual tool, unless you got the tools to do it, which would be cool, but most of us don't. So we have our visual, we have pictures and progress pictures in that sense. That's why progress pictures are so good, because we can see how our body's changing. We get so used to seeing our body every single day, we don't see those little changes that happen when you consume a little bit too much or too little every single day. So to see those small changes, we take progress pictures every day and then compare them to see how we're changing, or to see the lack thereof change. So that's the best way to keep yourself accountable, to see how your body is responding to the diet you are utilizing. All right. Number 4, guys, reasons why you're not seeing success with your diet plan is because you're not following a routine. So this really goes hand in hand with number 1 and 2, especially number 2, the frequency of which you eat. You need to follow a routine, not just for nutrition purposes, not just for training purposes, but ultimately, human beings, we thrive off of routines. And I guarantee, if you really think about it, you follow a routine right now. There's certain habitual patterns that you follow that you may not even realize. Like, I guarantee you open the toothpaste the same way every single time. You grab the toothbrush with the same hand every single time. You go through it in your mouth the same way, right? You turn the shower head on the same way, or you wake up, you get out of bed the same way every single time. See, the fact is, the human mind is an incredible masterpiece, such an incredible tool. And what it does, its sole purpose is to conserve energy in our body. All right, so we can have enough to survive and thrive. So when we create these habits and these patterns, our body is literally taking neural pathways and wiring them together so the neurons fire together and they solidify and they stay. Once neurons fire and wire together, they're going to fire and keep firing together, and it's going to be easier process for it to fire. So it saves you energy. So that's why when you start a new habit or you're trying to do something new, it's very hard and difficult to do. It's because your neurons have not wired and fired the right way frequently enough, excuse me, in order to be solidified. Because I'm sure you noticed this after you tried something new, right? The first week was so challenging, but after that, it became a breeze. It got easier. Why is that? Because your neurons have fired and your brain has wired itself to create the new habit, to create the new pathway, to make it easier. And when I say easier, you don't have to think about it, because thinking burns glucose. Thinking takes energy. It burns ATP. It utilizes energy. So the less we have to think, the more we conserve energy. That's why we have habits. That's why our body and our minds create habits, a pattern of doing things without us even realizing it. Isn't that so freaking cool? I love that. When I learned that, it blew my mind. So cool. But anyway, so the reason why you struggle with maintaining a routine or maintaining a diet plan at all and seeing the progress from it is because you're not following that routine. There's breaks in the chain somewhere. In order to solve this, you need to assess your daily habits. You need to really analyze it. You need to take a step back and be like, okay, this is what I'm doing. Why am I doing that? And is it benefiting me or is it hurting me? Is it taking me towards my goal or is it removing me from my goal? Am I stepping forward or stepping back, right? We want to make sure our habits are always moving us forward. This, my friends, are the secrets to serious success. If you look and if you interview any successful person, any billionaire, Elon Musk could be a great example. Their sole intention, they've hardwired and rewired their mind to only create habits that are pushing them forward to their goals. They're not wasting any time. They're not doing things that are negative for them. And even if they are, they're not doing it very long, right? They're assessing it and fixing it. So the thing about the human mind, it is so incredible. It can be manipulated and it can be adapted. That's the coolest thing. You can rewire your brain, but it takes time. It takes focus and it takes time. It takes persistence. It takes pig-headed discipline, if you will. So if you want to seriously achieve your goals and not fall off, not start and then fall off and then start and then fall off, you need to understand that you have to wire your brain and you have to create habits and follow a routine. It must be a non-negotiable for you. Absolutely. Absolutely non-negotiable. All right. So that was number 4, guys. Number 5 here. Number 5, the reason why you are not seeing success with your nutrition plan like you want to see is because you're not drinking enough water. So we're not just talking about food here. We're talking about water. We're talking about everything. It all works hand in hand, right? So a lot of people, when they don't drink enough water, a lot of Americans, I think studies show that Americans are honestly more chronically dehydrated than most human beings on the rest of the planet. That's the craziest thing. Don't quote me on that though, but I know the numbers are staggering. They're just incredibly high. So a lot of us go through each day being dehydrated, being chronically dehydrated, but our bodies have adapted to it. So we don't really realize it. We drink soda, we drink coffee, we drink all these other things, beer, that have no true nutrients. They don't give us the water that we need. So we stay chronically dehydrated. And what does that do? That causes softness in the body. That causes literally your body looks soft. It looks soft and flabby. That also causes muscle soreness. That also causes headaches, fatigued mind. You kind of like your mind's just gray and your mind's just foggy. It causes that. It causes a lack of energy and a downward spiral of that. So if you want to fix that, you want to fix a lot of the problems you may be having because of that, it's so simple, guys. Simple, but not easy. Remember, you must drink at least 90 ounces of water a day, 90 to 120, a full gallon. right? Half gallon, or not half gallon, but roughly half gallon to a full gallon. In that zone, you want to maintain that. And to assess it, you got to see how your body responds to the amount of water that you're intaking. All right. So that's very, very key, guys. If you want to change your body seriously, you need to drink more water. All right. Number 6, we're not sleeping enough. That is the big, big reason why you're just falling off and you're not seeing success. It's because you're not getting enough sleep. You're not allowing your body to recover enough. Sleep is so, so crucial. And studies have shown that lack of sleep for long periods of time start to literally damage your brain cells. They start to destroy the gray matter in your brain, and it starts to literally disintegrate and destroy itself. You start to get this brain fog, and you start to lose your memory almost, and you start to just have lack of energy and just all these other degenerative issues, degenerative diseases that come into play from not getting sleep. This is proven in the lab time and time again. It is so crucial, guys, to sleep at least 7 hours a night. 7 to 8 hours is what they suggest. Now, especially when you're talking about weight loss, it's so important. If you do not get the sleep you need, you're not going to recover. You're not going to bring your body back to that normal state, that homeostasis, that balance right in the middle of things. And when you're in homeostasis, that's when you're going to see the most progress. When you're balanced, when you're right there, you're going to see the most progress. But when you're on either side of the scale, that's when bad things start to happen. That's when you start to have illness, you start to have disease, you start to have all these issues. The flu and cold really only come up because the immune system's not up to par with fighting it off, because your body doesn't have enough sleep. You're not recovering enough. It's one of the reasons. So you want to seriously make some changes with your body. You're transforming your body. Start getting your sleep. Make it a non-negotiable. No matter what, set a bedtime. You hit that bedtime every night, same time you're waking up every single morning. All right, you're going to sleep the same time, you're waking up the same time every morning. Start getting into that routine. It's only going to help things become even better for you. You're only going to master things better, right? So guys, last reason here, number 7. Hope you've been enjoying this. I can't wait to hear your questions. But number 7, you're not tracking your progress. Now, this is a big one, because with any science experiment, and I like to think of our bodies as science experiments, because as we go through this process, we're changing variables, we're keeping dependent variables the same and changing the independent, right? We're manipulating things. We're going back and forth and changing things constantly. We have to know where we are. And when we track, we know. But when we don't track, we leave it unknown. It's like literally putting a blinder up and trying to hit a piñata, right? With people that are around a circle. You take that bat, you put a blinder up, and you just start swinging wherever. You don't care what you're hitting, you just swing as hard as you can. That's not very efficient, right? So you want to train with tracking your progress. You want to train yourself to track your progress. This is a daily habit. Make it a part of your routine, either at the beginning or at the end of your day, preferably at the end of your day, to assess how you did that day. Just jot it down. It should only take about 5 minutes, honestly. And if you don't have 5 minutes for yourself, then what are you really doing, right? We all can take 5 minutes. Even me, like, I'm super busy all the time, but I force myself and I tell myself this: if you don't have 5 minutes for yourself, man, what are you doing? Like, come on. So make sure you spend 5 minutes at least just recording your day, just analyzing what happened that day, so you can either continue that way or solve the challenges and the problems that you faced, so you don't face those problems again, so you can become better, become 1% better every single day. All right. So guys, thank you for joining me with that, with the 7 reasons why you're struggling with your diet plan and how to solve those. I really hope you enjoyed it. Now I'm going to open it up, guys. If you want to shoot off your questions, we got about 5 minutes here, and I can't wait to answer these guys. So you guys got some questions, or what are your thoughts on that?
I've experienced a lot of those things, and just seen what fixing it does, but I didn't really come up with any questions. Yeah, just ways I could relate. And like with the not following a routine, your habits, number four, it's like that's huge for me. I mean, when I'm off on the weekend versus what I do during the week, it's a lot harder to stay on track because my day is completely different, and then I'll end up sleeping later, or and then the meals are pushed back, and
Yeah.
everything's just kind of off. But during the week, when I got everything on track and I got all my meals and going to work and then going to the gym, that's when I know I'm making progress for sure.
That's good, man.
But
That's good. Yeah. And you're
but
not alone
then
with that either. You really aren't.
yeah,
We all struggle with that.
yeah,
That's good.
I'm sure. And like with the water, back in the summer, I yeah, when I had that health issue where I passed out and they were telling me to drink more water,
Yeah.
and I was already drinking, about a gallon a day, and then but I working outside, I stepped it up to like 140, 150,
Mm.
a day, and that really helped. And I can even see now, just like when I'm not getting a good pump in the gym, a lot of times it's just because I'm dehydrated. I'm like, oh, I'm behind on water. And it's like, you can kind of flood the system right before, but that's not the same, and
Yeah.
it could lead to discomfort.
Yeah, exactly, man. They say in order for that, you're exactly right. You don't want to just flood your system. You don't want to just drink all your water at once. You want to stay constantly hydrated. That's when you're going to make the most progress with it. That's when you're going to feel the best as well. So that's key as well. Like he said, he had struggles getting pumps when he was dehydrated, when he didn't have enough water. And that is a sure sign, because if you want to grow muscle mass, you got to get pumps in the gym. That pump is literally pushing fluid into your muscle and expanding the fascia so that muscle has more room to grow. So more bigger pumps, more growth. It is correlated. It's not the end all be all, but it is correlated. And you need to drink water in that case for that reason, among others. Love it.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
And it's going to be difficult to drink that much water. And, depending on what your day looks like, if you're at work or whatever,
Yeah.
you're going to be going to the restroom more, but that's a good reason to, space it out in like equal intervals. So, you can just have certain breaks that, you're going to go.
Yep. Time management. Time management. And
Yeah.
that's why routine is so important. There may be people listening to this right now thinking that, oh, I don't have time to create a routine, or like there's so much things going on in my life, a routine would hold me down. That's not what a routine does. And if you're doing a routine, utilizing it properly, routines don't hold you down. Routines set you free. You're able to do so much more and get so much more done when you have a routine, when you stick to a process. That's that's huge. That's huge. That's good. That's good. You got any other questions? You got any other things? You got about a minute and a
Uh,
half here before the video is done on this.
no, well, it was just interesting. I knew when you had too much protein that you couldn't utilize it, but I didn't know exactly what happened to it. And yeah, being stored as glycogen, that
Yeah.
you don't want that. But so that's interesting,
Yeah.
because yeah, I don't know. I hear some people talking about their diets at the gym and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's crazy sometimes. But uh, yeah, I think if you're not just drinking a bunch of shakes, like if someone tells me they're eating 300 grams of protein, I'm like, good luck. Like, I mean, if you're buying it all, maybe, but if you're making all that, it's a part-time job.
Yes. Yes, it is, man. It is a full time even, really. It's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's very good. That's very good. Well, hey, I just want to say, guys, last thing here. Thank you again for joining me today. I do appreciate you taking time out of your day. I hope you learned some great information. Jason, thank you for sharing your questions and throwing that out there for all of us. I hope it helped those watching. And until then, guys, we will see you again next week for another live nutrition mastery call. All right.
Sounds good, man. Thank you.